Welcome back to the Surrey Hills. So far in our series of articles we've looked at various aspects of riding. We've looked at themes that underpin your riding more generally. We've looked at physical, psychological and personal skills which you can affect, and we've applied them to certain trail scenarios. Today we're going to look at a wider concept of how to get more out of a trail. How do you achieve the feel-good factor in your riding? How you feel about your ride on any given day depends on your outcomes at the start. If you're a racer, your position in the pack, your time, your split times, how fast you went are probably paramount. But for most of us, we're just out having a ride for fun, with our friends, on your own, on trails you know, or trails that you don't. Of the factors that contribute to your overriding feelings of joy and happiness at the end of the ride, there are some you can affect easily, some you can affect through practice and with time, and others that are beyond your control. But you can be ready for them and make changes to the way you're riding, the setup of your kit, etc., to ensure that they don't infringe on your overall level of enjoyment. Some factors we can prepare for and practice in advance, others we're going to have to react to more dynamically. Situations change, terrain changes, the conditions change, and a trail itself can change over a period of time. So whether your riding goals are all about wins or all about grins, we'll look at elements that we can put together that will ensure a warm glow at the end of your ride, a feeling of satisfaction and a desire to get back out there and do it all again. One of the easiest ways to affect your ride is by looking at the personal elements that we've identified previously. That is of you and your equipment. Obviously, long term, training hard is going to make you fitter, and therefore you're going to be able to ride with more in your pocket, with more energy, and achieve greater level of success. More than that though, we need to look at our equipment. If your equipment lets you down, it's going to infringe on your enjoyment of a ride. Slipping gears, poorly performing suspension, things that move that shouldn't, things that don't that should, can all affect your overall performance and overall enjoyment. So getting your kit set up right is paramount in terms of enjoying your ride. Many people will jump on their bike once they've bought it from the shop and pretty much leave everything alone. You're never going to know whether you're getting the most out of your bike unless you actually spend some time tweaking and changing setup for different conditions and finding the perfect match for you and the terrain that you're riding. There's going to be times when you want to rely on adding some power, and when you put that power through the crank, you want it to turn into forward motion. If that chain slips or breaks or gears slip, it can really affect the way you're riding. It can stop you thinking ahead of the bike and bring you very much into the now. We're going to look at that element of projection and staying ahead of the bike a bit later on, but for now, knowing that your bike is in good working order, that when you go to change gear, the correct change happens, is going to help you get more enjoyment out of your ride. To a certain extent, perception is reality. If you go home thinking you've had a good ride, it doesn't matter if you looked sloppy, weren't the fastest, ultimately you've had a good ride and you've had a good time. So once you know that your bike's set up correctly, that personal element of your equipment is working for you well, and that you're riding within your limitations, but understanding your limitations of your physical ability, we can start to think about other aspects that are going to improve your enjoyment of a familiar trail.